Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Shabbat Shalom. Today, na Saturday, number 2nd day for this month, number 4 month for this year 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pass King. Wanna welcome for our daily podcast, a program where they bring meaningful information, substantiated and evidence-based analysis as we navigate this dangerous and tricky journey to our way of independence and freedom. Good people of Ambazonia, citizens of Ambazonia, the colonial government of La République du Cameroon that launched full-scale war against Ambazonian independence with the banning of Ambazonian community school across our national territory. But first, Ambazonian they done experience a wave of terrorist attack, including arson attacks and killing of innocent civilians and military raid across our national territory that have targeted primarily our civilians. There are now information that makes us to believe that this wave of terrorist attack by the occupation forces directed by their government officials is as a result of the success we had taking out their colonial duo in Ekondo Titi. According to information we receive the Cameroon government they be planned this wave of attack right from Etudi, Yaoundé. They then send their military throughout our territory from the Atlantic state to the Savannah state, killing hundreds of people and burning new villages to add to the list of villages that they have burned, including Bafut, Ndop, Oko. The list go on and on. A young baby of 12 years old was blown apart by a grenade in Bafut. All these people being slaughtered, killed as a result of collective punishment to our entire territory because Ambazonian fighters take out one of the Cameroon top government officials in Ekondo Titi. If Ambazonian people could learn one thing from this reaction from the occupation forces, now for tell them say they treat we as one because we are one. They know that this fight is a fight for Ambazonian freedom and that every Ambazonian have endorsed and stands for the total independence of our territory. That's why they target them to punish them collectively, despite the fact that it is a war crime to do so, for the action carried out by their variant hero, the Ambazonian Defense Forces. So if the Kiwi kill our civilians all across our territory because of the actions we'll carry them for take out their colonial officials, now for tell we one thing, say Ambazonian are one, they see we as one, they go to treat we as one. So me some man no feel say this war concern ye, and this must rejuvenate our love for each other, the watching of each other's back, the assembling of resources to defeat La République du Cameroon, and mobilization of our population in particular on the ground to reject completely any aspect of this Cameroon occupation administration, their illegitimate unelected officials and their agents provocateurs, spoilers, traitors and collaborators. We now implement a zero-tolerant policy towards such persons. Any information about activities of such person should be immediately reported to us and swift actions will follow. For inside Bongong village, for inside the great state of Ndu, the population they stay in for bush as hundreds of family them they don't flee away from around town center them run enter for inside bush and they stay now for farmhouse. For Bamunka, our forces they don't destroy the camp where they borrow people them where they do collaborate with La République. They will use them like prison for store for keep people the way they don't catch them. We go make sure so we go hunt them till the last of them will be found inside our territory. We no go fish the shidong again. They allow each time they come target our entire villages in Fongwa, born villages in Fongwa, and across our territory, and then we just shidong the weight. Not only the military, any place where you go house the Cameroon military and their janja with them, Fulani herdsmen, terrorists, Boko Haram fighter them, where they bring them from Nigeria. Any community where you go house them, you go keep them, it could be done so at their own risk. Obafoot would still get the full extent for the destruction of property, burning down of houses, and the amount of people them where they don't die. They see discover some dead body them to be discovered yesterday for inside farm. Would they ask our people them where they for inside Bafoot, for Babanki, and for Bambui, me they help we for report all those incidents them, so that they come around their crimes they could be properly documented for accountability. The time for reckoning it will eventually come. A preliminary result it don't come in for investigation for the death of the father and two of his sons. The way the Cameroon military then come in full military gear, full assault gear, and launch a raid for the house will be unarmed, and then move the bar, executive for house, shooting for house, come out, finish killing for outside, alongside the two sons them. There is no indication say this bar be get any problem with anybody. There is no indication say we don't be previously targeted or accused for working with Ambazonian freedom fighters. It just look like for us preliminary now, somebody will just be targeted for no reason. Other than that, the Cameroon military they look for people for kill them as a collective punishment for our people. They stand for separation and independence. For Cameroon, their war against Ambazonian community school, as we don't talk, they don't launch a full-scale war. Now we don't get the document where they come from Kumba, where it be signed by the colonial divisional officer Ngale Mende Alfred. He signed this document. It target a little known community school, then we would give them less publicity, because our main objective for open and promote community school, not be for propaganda, not be for projection, but now our desire for educate our people as Cameroon government schools that can be banned in our territory. The school we then target them for Insa Kumba, they mention specifically our community school we did for Insa Teke, the one we did for Mapanda, the one we did for Tancha, the one we did also for Insa Mundame. In a tweet, Dr. Cho Ayaba, the leader of our liberation war, he talks say for over 60 years, Cameroon don't use school as a colonial tool. Ambazonian they don't reject them and open their own community school. This country that does not own land reacts by banning Ambazonian school. All schools set up by Cameroon are banned from Ambazonia. Independence means independence. On the side for the Defense Department, the Ambazonian Defense Forces, it going to send out instructions them this weekend for all of our commanders for take proactive actions in reaction to this ban and targeting of community school, to make sure that no Cameroon government schools are open in our territory or are even in a phase where it could be open. They will be revisited and will revive the banning of all Cameroon schools, all Cameroon authorized schools. Any school where they for instance Ambazonia where they operate without explicit approval from us to be transformed and accept the conditions that we set by the Ambazonian Board of Education will be closed. All of them will be closed. And anybody who is involved in illegal activities, that means teaching or being a staff in Cameroon government schools or unauthorized schools in Ambazonian territory, will also be doing so at their own risk. For the diplomatic side, more and more call that come for the issue of Ambazonian for be resolved at the highest level, despite calls for the Ukrainian crisis for take the forefront. The issue for Ambazonia it also be raised in very high level according to our diplomatic sources as they pick up information for the diplomatic corridors. Them we go dedicate a particular episode for bring the report of Amnesty International. We report the human rights violation and the alarming condition for our citizens them for given the humanitarian crisis will then be brought about by this war, and they are urging for the international community for react accordingly for bring in justice and peace for our people. The Governing Council it already reached out for the European Union with the reaction for their report. No, there will be no episode to explain that, because the president of the governing council have put out statement in that regard. So we look forward for another episode where we could break down the Amnesty International, their report. Capo Daniel, signing off.